Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to JIS, Jakarta Intercultural School. Okay, we're going to start. And so I want to start by saying thank you very much for being here with us today at the very first open house that we are able to host since 2019. Welcome. We are so excited to talk to you today about our high school program and, of course, to show you our wonderful campus. Before anything else, I want to introduce myself. I know that some of you have already been interacting with me, and it's great to put a face to the names. My name is Kathleen Nangkayon. I'm the head of admissions at JIS. I also happen to be a proud mom of 4 JIS graduates who are now off in Canada doing their own thing. I do have 4 boys. And so for me, I've come full circle both as a JIS parent and also a JIS administrator. And so I'm really proud to be standing here in front of you today and welcoming you to our wonderful school. I do want to share a few housekeeping things before we get started, so please bear with me. I want to thank the Parent Welcome Team and the Parent-Teacher Association of JIS for being with us today and mingling and answering your questions and chit-chatting with you. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for that, PTA and Parent Welcome. I also want to thank the student ambassadors who have also been chatting with you this morning, and they will also be guiding you on a tour of the campus later today. So thank you, student ambassadors. As I said, I'm really excited to be with you today, but we want to go through a few housekeeping things. One is that you might notice a camera at the back of the room, and then there's another one over here. The event will be filmed. Don't worry, you are not the focus of the filming. We're actually wanting to film the students and our administrators who will be presenting today. Of course, the camera might pan to the audience at some point. If you are uncomfortable with that, please see a staff member and we'll help you get situated. And you'll know that we're staff because we have JIS written on our name tags. The other thing I wanted to let you know is that if you need to go to the restroom, please exit to the rear, and then the restrooms are to the left, okay? In case of an emergency, we are very health and safety conscious here at JIS. Please follow the instructions of our JIS administrators and staff. And lastly, when we go on tour later, please stay with your group. It's a huge school, and I've been here 14 years, but I still get lost. So please stay with your tour groups at all times. With all of that said, let's get this program, the formal part of this program, started. We have a very special guest who is delighted to welcome you here today, our head of school, Ms. Maya Nelson.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's so wonderful to see so many of you here for our high school open house. High school is a pretty special time, right? For a parent, it's the last few years that those wonderful children of yours are at home with you. For kids, it's a time where they can explore and learn more about themselves, the world around them, and academics. And we are so proud that we have programs that give you very different pathways in being able to achieve this. Our students are remarkable here. And you will see with some of the ambassadors who will be showing you around the campus that they exemplify everything that we are so proud of being best for the world. We know you have choices. We know you have choices about schools and where you send your children. And we're very honored that you're taking the time to be here with us today to learn more about our program and to see if this can be a fit for your child. Please know that we are thrilled to have you and your family here, and that we would be even more honored to have your children come to us as students. So you're going to have a lot of information from students, from administrators, and thank you to the admissions office who will continue to communicate and correspond with you about the admissions process. But enjoy your afternoon, and thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lauren Poole. I am the high school principal here at JIS. This is my 10th year in the JIS community. I have 2 boys, not like Kat's 4, and they have just begun their schooling journey in our early years center. My children are 5 years old and 3 years old. So they were born here in Jakarta, and this school has been such a special part of the story for our family. I hope you'll hear today what it feels like to be a member of this community, and you'll leave with some questions answered and some things to think about and talk about at home to see if JIS is the right fit for you and your family. I think it's very normal to get a little bit nervous before public speaking, but whenever I'm in a room with people sharing what makes our high school so special, and also supported by our students who are going to share so much of that with you as well today, I just find myself so excited. So if we are gushing a little bit too much or going on and on, please know we are going to get to all of the questions that you've asked in advance today. But I am truly so excited and overjoyed to share with you what we think makes the JIS High School so very special. So I'm not sure if this is working. Let's try. We're so happy to be back in person, but you remember on Zoom, we were just clicking our own slides right in front of us. So here we are, back in person again. We believe in starting most of our presentations, and this continues with students and faculty every day when we are meeting with them, in anchoring ourselves in our mission, vision, and values. I certainly hope this isn't the first time you've seen this, if you're interested in JIS, because we want to make it clear that we really live by these core documents. When Ms. Nelson says that we want to be educating students to be best for the world, that's our mission statement in action, and I think you'll see some of that today. I hope you'll also be able to hear through many of our values, the ones we celebrate with our students on a daily basis. Their energy for balance, for fun, their compassion among themselves and others, their perseverance, and everything that we ask them to work through and exemplify on a daily basis. And we reflect on these values often. We use the language at the bottom there of our dispositions to be relating, to be reflective, and we ask students to do that often in their classes. So these aren't just words on a page or on the walls, as you'll see around our school. We really do engage with them and try to live by these core mission, vision, and values. One of the ways I wanted to exemplify that for you today was in a survey I took of our alumni ranging from 5 years back from graduation. And I wanted to capture a group that had experienced learning online and through COVID, and also been in person. And when I asked alumni to share in 3 words what the JIS High School meant to them, this is what we got back. And this is one of those word diagrams that ranks them by frequency. So the bigger the word, the more times it came up. This was unprompted. This was just my interest in asking them, if you were to get to what does the high school mean to you, this is what I got back. And you can see that from our alumni, from a range of years and differing experiences, they truly felt like they were a part of community at JIS. Many of them felt like they found their home here. They felt connected. And the teacher in me loves that they also put learning on the board as well. So we do have to celebrate. We are still a school. We want students to feel connected and at home and belonging, but we celebrate that they also feel like they learned here in a diverse community of learners. And I think you're going to see that in action today. But I hope this speaks for itself on how our students leave and remember their time at JIS. Some of the overview we want to give you in this portion of the day is about the balance in our academics and also the support and the activities and the other ways that we engage our students in what we say in sort of education speak as whole child learning. So I'm going to invite up our vice principal for curriculum and instruction is the first Ryan you'll meet today, and he is going to speak about our academic programs here at JIS.
Hopefully everyone can hear me. It's my name is Ryan Campbell, and it is my very great pleasure to talk to you today about our curriculum. That's a lot of badges, isn't it? Well, let's have a look at this together, and I'll try and explain what each of them means, and more importantly, what they mean for your child's learning journey at JIS. So, as you can see there in the top left, we are a fully Indonesian accredited school, Indonesian government. We're very proud of our Indonesian heritage now of over 70 years. And that means that all the government mandated courses, the 3 compulsory subjects, and the Indonesian studies for expatriate students, we provide. As you can see, moving along the top right there, we are fully accredited internationally, both by the Council of International Schools and the Western Association of Schools and Colleges. This means 2 things. The first thing it means is that you can rest assured that your child's courses and JIS developed courses are built to the most rigorous international standards. That means they'll be prepared both for further study at JIS and beyond. The second thing it means, and I'm looking here in particular at the Western Association of Schools and Colleges, that means that our high school diploma, which all of our high school students enter for, is fully accredited. It's a fully accredited exactly as if it was a US high school. Moving on now to the top right, Global Online Academy. As if our own courses weren't enough, we also have a partnership with the Global Online Academy, which allows us to offer online courses through them. It gives our students even more choice. Now let's go down here. We have the College Board and the International Baccalaureate. I'm going to start with the College Board. The AP program is something we're particularly proud of. When you get to grade 10, the AP courses start to kick in. We offer 4 AP options there. AP, seen more as an American qualification in many ways, the AP is recognized all over the world by top universities everywhere. It's a very rigorous program, but also has a lot of room for flexibility. Students can choose at JIS AP courses from grade 10 to grade 12. We're also particularly proud of our capstone diploma, which your child can take at this school. Moving on from AP now to the IB, we offer 2 programs from the IB. The IB diploma program at grades 11 and 12, which is a holistic course of study covering everything from 3 subjects at great depth, with 3 other subjects taken at a broader level, an extended essay, which is a bit like a kind of undergraduate dissertation, but taken at high school. Can you imagine what fantastic preparation that is for university? I wish I'd done that. And then there's service requirements, as well as a kind of intro to philosophy course called Theory of Knowledge. Another program from the IB that we've just started to offer here is the career-related program. One way to look at that is as more of a vocational course. So if your student has already started to know where they want to go with their career, and some people really do know that when they're at high school, that might be the option for them. Let's have a look at what that looks like then as a typical journey through our high school. So, come with me and let's have a look at grade 9. What does that mean? Well, grade 9 will be JIS courses, okay? That will be JIS courses, but designed to those international standards I was talking about. And that's where those badges become so very important. Moving on from 9 to 10 now, that's where those AP courses start to click in. There's 4 of them, 4 options open to grade 10s there, but most students will continue with those JIS designed courses. Everyone with me so far? All right. Now at the end of grade 10, you'll start to do course selection and students will explore their courses and we will custom build the schedule around what they've chosen. Because if you look at the grade 11 and grade 12, you can see we have an incredible variety, the full variety of courses come in there. We have those Global Online Academy courses I mentioned. We have the IB. We have AP courses. We have the IB career-related program, or some students will do a combination. Uniting all of our students, regardless of which pathway they follow, is that JIS high school diploma I mentioned. So, we're very proud of our curriculum because it offers an awful lot of choice. And we hope that there's something in there that's of interest to everyone. I'm now going to hand over to the other Ryan, Ryan Burke, who's going to talk about the other part of our program, developing the whole child.
All right, thank you. I am, yes, the other Ryan. I'm the associate principal for student life and well-being. I do not have children yet, but I've been told many times that it's time to, mostly by my wife and my family. So you heard a lot about the academics. That is really important here. You may have seen the theme that there are many, many different choices for classes to take. There's many pathways to graduation, and we want to help guide you through that. So we have 6 counselors in the high school, and they will help work with you on what's best for you and your goals. And they'll walk you through the academic programs and what might be the best fit for you. But academics isn't the only thing. We know that there's much more than just studying in the classroom. And so the teachers, the counselors, the administration, we're here for you, socially, emotionally, whatever it is that comes up, we're here to help you. And so we take a lot of pride in talking about this is a school where it's a community of care. It's a community of care for us, for all of our students. Our students care a lot about us, which is nice, and we care a lot about our colleagues. And so we really try to live that and show that throughout everything that we do at the school. We do want students to become the best for the world. And so we have 40 different service clubs. We have over 60 activities, from MUN to Magic Club to learning about the metaverse and the stock market. There's tons of different things you can get involved in. We're also members of JIS, which is a conference where we compete internationally in 9 different sports. Right now we're doing volleyball, cross country, and soccer, and we will be doing tennis, swimming, badminton, rugby, golf. So there's tons of things that you can get involved in, but if you don't find anything that's for you, then you can create one. You can create a club that matches your interests. We want to match things with you, and we want to give you those opportunities. That's really important to us. Okay, so you do have a lot of choices, and even if those choices don't work, then you have more choices, right? So hopefully you're seeing kind of a pattern here that student voice, student advocacy, these are things that are really, really important to us, right? We give you a lot of options. We give you the independence to choose and the responsibility to do that, to make those good choices. And we'll guide you along the way. There's times you'll hear people talk about Honor Pass, where you have time where sometimes you don't have a class. And that's for you to figure out, how am I going to spend this time? Am I going to work on my homework for this class or an assessment? Am I going to take a break and just talk with some of my friends? Right? That is your time. That's kind of a responsibility of yours, but it is a right too. It's your independence. We also work with students and are very welcoming to students coming up with policy changes. If you think something's not working, you're welcome to come to us, come to your class council. We have multiple venues for proposing, I think there should be a change, and presenting why you think it should be changed, and we can all discuss about that. So, yeah, student advocacy, student choice, voice, they're really, really important to us here. And that helps us to keep a really strong community of care. I could probably talk a long time about this, but you likely don't want to listen to us anymore. So why don't we invite up our students, and we can hear from them. So why don't you guys have a seat? And I will pass around a microphone to you. Could you just, or that one, could you just start with introducing yourself and maybe something you love about JIS?
Hi, I'm Tamira. I'm in 10th grade. I'm a sophomore. And something I love about JIS is the community. I have a really great group of friends here. And it's also super easy to reach out and, like what Mr. Burke mentioned, to make what you want to happen. So a club, any of your interests, it's really easy to reach out to anybody and make it happen.
I'm Noor, I'm a junior. One of my favorite things about JIS is just like the variety of options you have for academics and clubs and sports and activities, and you can do so much and still have time for actually being able to do those functionally.
Hello, my name is Jungmin, and one thing I really like about JIS is that it offers so many opportunities for students, especially to experience a lot of things, whether it's meeting with different people or trying out new activities. So I just think that the variety that they offer is so large that there are so many different experiences that you can gain from just being a student here.
Hi, my name is Matthew, and I'm a senior. And one of the things that I think makes JIS special is the community. I've been to several international schools all around Asia, and there's no school quite like JIS because the community is just so welcoming, even for new students. Sometimes it's very overwhelming to be a new student, and JIS sort of helped me adjust very quickly and helped me feel like a part of the community.
And hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm a senior at JIS, or in grade 12. One things that I really love about JIS is our co-curricular program. I mean, I've never been to a school where we have so many opportunities and to do so many things that sometimes it can be overwhelming to choose which interest you want to take part in because there's just so many. But the co-curricular program here is just absolutely like incredible. I haven't seen a better one in my life. So.
Thank you so much. We're going to ask you for some more details on a number of the things that you've mentioned already. So one I wanted to pull out, I think Matt and Rebecca, you both have been new students in your time in the high school, or what grade did you join in? So maybe could you speak to us a little bit about what it was like to be new to JIS and what that felt like for you when you maybe first arrived? Go ahead, Rebecca.
Okay, so I came into JIS in 2019 when I was in grade 9, and I do have to say, it was kind of scary. I mean, like all new school experiences, moving schools, especially from a much smaller one I was in my home country, Australia, and then moving here with such a big school with a lot of students and a lot of activities, it definitely felt a little scary, but I think the sense of community that JIS really has, and that you can find, it's really easy to make friends within your own community, then branch off from there. So I never really felt like I was, I guess, alone at JIS, and the students here are also welcoming of each other, especially if you're new. They're always curious to find out, to meet new people. So yeah, no, the transition was, for me at least, was pretty easy.
Yeah, so I moved here last year, actually. I was in grade 11 whenever I moved here. I think being a new student at JIS was a very easy transition. Even though school was online, I was still able to find my circle of friends very quickly because, as Rebecca said, students here, they're always very curious and very, opening and welcoming to new students. I've been to, many international schools all over Asia, and I moved from China prior to moving to JIS, and I would say that, JIS throughout my whole academic experience is the most welcoming in general.
Fantastic. Now, you've told us what it's like to come to JIS. Now we want to hear about what a typical day at JIS is like. And I was wondering if maybe Jungmin and Tamira could answer that for us.
Okay, I'll start off. So like from my morning routine and everything. Okay.
You've got it.
Okay. Well, I wake up at around 6 a.m. because I live quite far. And then when I arrive to school, normal classes, everything, maybe I have honor pass, which was mentioned earlier. And then after school, there's either usually a club or sport. And then I go home.
So I usually wake up at 6 a.m. I live really close by, but I come really early to school about at like 6:50 because I usually just like talking to my friends in the morning, and also I have some time to study because we have such a great library. It's so peaceful there, and it's just so great for studying. So I often stay for a study or just talking to my friends. And then I go to classes, and after school, I usually have a lot of outside school activities that I participate in, whether it's sports, I play an instrument, I go to different service clubs or activities clubs. So there's just a lot of activities I participate in that's easy, different for each day. So I guess that there's a lot of variety of after-school activities I participate in.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
So I think we want to dig into that a little bit more. So Noor and Rebecca, you mentioned you loved all the co-curriculars. So can you talk a little bit about what you're involved in and just why you love it?
Oh God, this is going to be a long list. I'm involved in football or soccer, and we have practice 3 days a week. And I'm in Writers Empowered, which is a writing club, and poetry club, which I'm an officer in, so I help run that. I do, I'm in On the Same Page, which is essentially a book club, and Dungeons and Dragons, which is easily one of the most exciting things I do in my entire day. There are some activism clubs I'm in. There are also JIS Academy sports that I do, like baseball training on Wednesday nights. I'm surely forgetting something, but oh well.
I think I saw you in Magic Club.
Yeah, I am in Magic Club.
Okay, so I'm a part of a few co-curriculars at JIS. I am a project officer for one of our service clubs at JIS called Bye Bye Plastic Bags. I am a part of, funnily enough, the Service Council as well, which is a group of 10 students who oversee all of service at JIS, at JIS High School more specifically. I'm also a part of basketball, so I play basketball on Wednesday nights. I also am a part of Film Society, which is really great because we also run JIS's annual film festival at the end of every school year. And yeah, I think that's all the co-curriculars I'm a part of so far.
Fantastic. Now, here's a question for all of you. Considering our audience, what advice would you give to a new student joining JIS?
Oh, you want me to go first? Okay. I think some advice that I would give to new students joining JIS is you're probably going to hear this a lot, is to like get involved, whether it's through going to trying out for class council, whether it's trying out for a new sport, whether it's going to a club. It's really part of what like makes JIS so special. Is that we have so many great communities and so many great opportunities to branch out your interests and to cultivate new interests as well. I think that like as like a new student arriving, it's so important because in these clubs you get to meet so many new other people and you get to go on so many new experiences. Also within these co-curriculars, you get to travel. For example, if you're lucky enough to get into like a varsity sport, you get to go to different countries within our region and to play sports there. So that's a really cool and unique experience. I really do believe that you should at least try and, get involved because JIS is such a fun and inviting space for everyone. So, yeah.
All right, so my advice for a new student is not to worry too much about academics because really JIS, well, first of all, classes are super cool and all, but you also got to consider, being well-rounded, and JIS, provides lots of opportunities for that. It's not just, Magic Club or something like that, basketball, but there's a lot of clubs, and seriously, if you feel like you don't fit in somehow, you can, make your own club. You really want to make sure that you're getting involved with everything, as Rebecca said.
I know that it might be hard for people who are transitioning to a new school, but one advice I would give is to not be too scared because there is a lot of students here who I'm sure is willing to be getting new friends and getting to know new students. And once you get to know someone, everyone's willing to help. So if you have, maybe you get lost because it's a big school. I know everyone gets lost. They can help you get to your classes. You can make new friends in your classes, and they will obviously, maybe you guys have similar interests, so they will really help you and guide you throughout your journey of being new to the school. So I think that a big role can be, as Matt said, join a lot of clubs because you can meet a lot of people there, and it's just a more natural and easier way to get to know people once you join an activity.
I think probably the biggest piece of advice I'd wish someone had told me was that if you need help with academics or figuring out where things are or joining clubs or really anything, everyone, all of the teachers, all of the admin, all of the students really do want to help, and they are all like, they'll give you directions to where your class is, or they'll tell you where to find something on the website. They'll find a way to help you with whatever you need help with, and like everyone is really caring and supportive, and they want to see you do your best, and they want to help you.
So for me, it was more for sports. Usually, or for me at least, I was a little scared to join a new sport because I've never ever played it before. But here at JIS, for example, touch rugby, they made a preseason, and I'd never played before, and I thought, oh, it's not going to go well. But everyone was so nice. The coaches were so welcoming, and everyone always willing to help you. And if you ask questions, they'll answer in lots of detail. And also for finding friends, at least when I came to JIS, that's what I was worried about. But I guess talking to everybody, joining clubs, that really helps. And yeah.
Thank you so much, students. You're not off the hook quite yet, because we did have some questions that were sent in advance of the program, and we want to make sure that we take a few of those. And if you have a question in the audience, you can also get ready to be either brave enough to raise your hand, and we'll come give you the microphone to ask, or you can also write it on a Post-it note or an index card at your desk and give it to us to be answered now, or we can get in touch to answer it for you later. But in this moment, Kat, what were some of the questions we had in advance?
Right, so we did get a lot of questions from the audience. One of them is actually for the students, Lauren. It is, what academic support is available to kids?
We have a program called NHS, which stands for National Honor Society. And it's basically a group of actual students from juniors and seniors, so 11th grade and 12th grade, who you can sign up for tutoring. So, for instance, if you're struggling in a class and you want to get some tutoring, there are so many tutors available for you. You can just sign up and they'll match you to a tutor, and whether it's during SLA, which is kind of like an advisory classroom, or kind of like a homeroom. We have Honor Pass, as Mr. Burke mentioned, I think, where we have a free block, or just after school, they'll schedule a meeting for you where you're comfortable, and they will just go over school materials and talk to you and have some tutoring with you that will really help you with your academics.
Yeah, there are also times on community days, and I don't know how to begin to explain community days, but where there are times like blocked out for academic support, so you can set a meeting with a teacher to have them explain something to you or get help with homework or studying or something like that. And there are, nope, it left me.
So I think they've highlighted, not only do we offer peer-to-peer tutoring through National Honor Society, but teachers are available, and we ask them to be available most days after school if they're not coaching or advising a club. And we also, with that Honor Pass that rotates through a student's schedule, they can set up meetings with their teacher. What Nora was explaining is Community Day. We have special schedule days once a month, and we block out some time for academic catch-up. And then one other is we have a course built into every student's schedule called Supported Learning and Advisory. A lot of schools have advisory programs where we do education around topics like how to stay safe, using social media, study skills, maybe university admissions process. So we do education directly targeted around certain topics, but we also have several class periods in the 10-day school cycle that are reserved just for students to get help and support in their classes. So we try to keep it really balanced, and we try to make sure that students feel like they can advocate for themselves to get the help that they need as well.
That's right, and that kind of ties into the next question that we got here, which is, you said earlier that JIS offers the IBCP Careers Program. What are the prerequisites for the IBCP Careers Program? Maybe Lauren can answer?
Sure. We are newly authorized to offer the IB Careers Program, so we're very excited to be able to launch that, and we would love for some of you to join us as we pilot that program here at JIS. As Mr. Campbell explained, it's a semi-vocational program, so it's designed for students that have a very specific focus. If they're really interested in going into the hospitality industry, or perhaps into business and entrepreneurship, or even looking into the arts and design programs, we've partnered with SCAD, the Savannah College of Art and Design, to run that program. So the prerequisites would be, we would build the schedule with you to make sure that you meet all the requirements of the IB Careers Program. But if you are admitted to JIS, then there's nothing additionally that needs to be completed to be eligible for that program. We would work with you to design that program for your child.
Thank you, Lauren. I just want to remind parents, if you have questions that you are thinking of, please write them on the question cards, and Arya and Marina, please rise. Arya and Marina, you can pass them to Arya and Marina. You can raise your hand, and they'll walk over and pick up your question card for you, okay? So we probably have time for about 5 or 6 more questions. So I'm going to dive right into the next question, which is actually for Mr. Campbell. Mr. Ryan Campbell, I heard that at JIS, Indonesian students have to take specific courses. Can you please explain?
Sure, yeah, that's actually not at JIS. That's at all schools in Indonesia. So let me talk a little bit about that then. So the 3 compulsory subjects that come from the Ministry of Education. So what are they? There's religion, there's Bahasa and Sastra, or language and literature, and then of course there's civics. So those are the 3 compulsory subjects and that we offer here at JIS, but also that would be the same at any school they went to.
Okay, I have 2 questions, and I'm going to feel funny asking these questions because I actually have the answers to these questions. One is, should I transfer my child to JIS now? He's finishing 8th grade and going into grade 9, or do I wait until he finishes grade 9 and wait later? I'm going to preface this by saying moving to a school is always a very personal choice. Only you as parents can decide what is best for you. I will tell you, though, that grade 9 students, as our administrators and our students have explained, we do a lot of transition pieces, we do a lot of counseling work with them to get them ready for high school. And plus, there's so many things to enjoy at JIS, why not move earlier, right? The last piece to that question is that as you go up in age, it is harder and harder to get in because there are fewer and fewer spaces as you go up in grade levels. So really the choice is yours, and after today, we are available. Admissions is available to meet with you to answer these questions. And that ties into the next question, which I got and I will answer, which is, when is the deadline for applications for Lane 3? I'm assuming a lot of the parents here are Lane 3. JIS actually has 3 application lanes. One is Lane 1, which is embassy, US and Australia, so our founding embassies. I don't think I see any embassy faces here. Lane 2 are families who are transferring from outside of Indonesia, basically. So you're new to Jakarta, you're new to Indonesia, and you don't have a school yet, you are Lane 2. And then Lane 3 are families, like the majority here, who are transferring from other schools in Jakarta. So we do assign admission priorities to Lane 1 and Lane 2. And so with Lane 3, if you want to get your result by April 15, you need to finish. It's not a deadline. I mean, you can still apply after. But if you want to get your result by April 15, you need to complete your application by March 1. So not a hard and fast deadline, but if you want a decision by April 15, please make sure it's completed by March 1. I see some more questions here. Maybe Ms. Lauren or Mr. Campbell can read out some of them.
I've got an absolutely cracking question here. What happens if we take the AP program, but we're not going to the US? Well, you may have noticed from my accent, I'm not American. And I'm from Scotland, and I can tell you the AP program is so well respected internationally, it'll get you into any of the top universities in Scotland, Europe, or all over the world. So what's going to happen if you take the AP program? Well, nothing, really. You're just going to have exactly the same advantages. It really is a very prestigious program. That's why we say that it's important you choose the program that's right for your child. And that's why we have a wonderful high school counselling department who really look at that individual care and attention and help match the subject choices to that university pathway.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Campbell. Here's a question. I believe this would be either a Miss Poole or a Mr. Burke question. Do you have a system or a program to introduce JIS to universities globally?
I think Mr. Campbell touched on this a little bit, and there was a similar question about what's your counseling program to get students into university. And we do very much so walk every family through that process individually. We meet with every grade 11 family and every grade 12 family, and we even keep supporting our alumni after they leave JIS in case they switch programs or they come back from military service or something that kept them away from university right away. So we absolutely do support you through that, and that on behalf of those counselors, they reach out to universities. We actually have university visitors coming to our campus almost every day. Our students might be able to nod knowingly about the university visits that are set up around. So we share our great programs at JIS with the universities. They share their university content with us, and our counselors work through it to make sure that there's a wonderful match. And all of our counselors who support students are able to support them through the university process. And we're very, very proud with the one-on-one family approach that we can provide. We had a couple that were specific to statistics and things about scores and admissions process and what is exactly expected to get you into JIS. And I will let that go through the admissions process, that you can read a little bit more about those details on our website. Because I think what we want to share with you today is we want to work with each family to see if JIS is the right fit for you. So it's not always a numbers game for us. We don't have cutoffs on our admissions scores in specific arenas. We do make sure that there's a certain level of English proficiency because our basic level of instruction is English, but we also have support, ongoing support for English language learners once they've been admitted. So we don't want to drill it down to numbers here, but if you have more questions on that, you can work through that process with the admissions team. One of the questions I wanted to ask to the students was, someone asked, what's one of the biggest challenges you've faced as a student at JIS, and how did you overcome it? Do we have any volunteers to answer that question?
I think for me personally, one of the biggest challenges I faced at JIS was academics, which is really interesting. So when I transferred to JIS, I only did half of grade 8 in Australia, which was super crazy. And then I went, instead of taking grade 8 again at JIS, I decided to go up and do grade 9. So I can definitely say that like the shift, especially if you haven't been at like an international school as vigorous as this one as I was, it can be a little bit challenging, especially in areas of mathematics and science where there might be a little bit of a step ahead. However, because of like the great support that we have at JIS and because of my wonderful teachers that I had, I was able to pretty much pull through and do really good by the end of grade 9. So although there is like a challenge of like, if you're worried about whether you might not do well academically, there's like tons of support here, as mentioned before, that I think is like absolutely wonderful and that we have at JIS.
Can I ask a follow-up to that? What are the frequencies of tests and quizzes, and how much homework do you usually get every day? Does someone else want to take that?
All right, so I don't have any experience with the whole JIS course curriculum, so like 9th and 10th grade, but as an AP student, I can attest to the fact that quizzing is, somewhat frequent. It's not like every day where you have a pop quiz in class. It's more of a like once a week kind of thing. And summatives, it really depends on the class. For example, I'm taking, AP US History, and that's a pretty heavy course, and so summatives are often, spread out a little bit more if the teacher feels that, you need to learn a little bit more. It really just depends on the course, but I would say that summatives don't occur so rarely that you don't have any time to, show your learning, but they don't occur so frequently that, you're stressed out and stuff like that.
I also want to add on that we have formatives and we have a summative. So we have formative is kind of like a pre-test. You could take it, a quiz, where it's a test, but it doesn't really actually count as like a grade in your grade book. It's more of a, what do I need to improve on in order to do better on my test? So I think it's a great where you can like recognize where you're at in terms of your comfort levels in a specific course, and also who to when to ask for help and what to ask for help with in order to do better. I think quizzes are pretty often, but I think it's not as like so many that you don't have time to study. But sometimes I do think that since you have different classes, there might kind of have might have multiple on one day, which we also have a student self-advocacy policy where we can move certain summatives is we have 3 on the same day, which helps us be more relaxed and study more for other summatives and do well.
Yeah, and I can't speak for the IB program because I'm also an AP student, but it really does just depend on the class. Like I'm in Matthew's AP US History class, and it's a very heavy course when it comes to content, so we do have to get through a lot before we can get to tests and stuff. But there are classes where you don't get as much homework or you won't get tested as much just because of how they're laid out and how they're structured. So it really does just depend on the class.
Thank you so much. We've grouped some of the remaining questions that are specific to the admissions requirements, and of course, Kat will speak to that. One I saw, though, that I wanted to highlight was asking about if you are a grade 11 transfer student, how do you fit in all the graduation requirements? And I want you to know, again, we work with the family to look at which credits transfer, what things you've already completed to make sure that you can meet the requirements for graduating from JIS. We do have a balanced curriculum where we expect that students have done classes across English, math, social studies, sciences, the arts, and physical education. But again, we work with every family, and we are very used to taking transfer students at all grade levels, and we'll work through that with your family if whatever time it is that you decide JIS is the right school for your child. Over to you, Kat.
Wonderful. Yes, thank you, Lauren. And aside from admission questions, there are questions about, where do JIS students go after JIS? What universities do they go to? We'll include all of that information in our thank you letter that you will receive from us soon. And of course, we'll invite you to connect with us because so many of your questions are really personal. It's about your family. And it's not something that we can discuss here in a big group. I think we've answered the general questions, but what we really want to do is take time with you. There is a very easy scheduling system, so you can book time with either myself, Aria, Marina, who help with the admissions process, and then we're here to answer your questions. All of us are very familiar with JIS. Anything JIS, you can ask us, and we'll tell you perhaps even more than you need to know. But we are really there for you. So with that said, I want to thank our high school administrators, Ms. Lauren Poole, our principal, Mr. Ryan Campbell, our associate principal for curriculum and learning, and then Mr. Ryan Burke, our associate principal for student life. So thank you very much for being with us today. Thank you to our wonderful JIS representatives. I want to tell you something about these kids. You might think that we went and picked the best of the best because they really represent JIS well, don't you think? They're not. Kids, you are JIS kids. I could go out and speak to any of the students and they will have equally wonderful stories, because at JIS we believe it's not about being the best of the best, it's being best for the world, and that includes being the best version of yourself. So hand on heart, I can say all of these children here are showing us what it means to be best for the world. With that said, we'll go to another exciting part of our program. I'm sure all of you are itching to see the schools. So I want you guys to look at your name tags. On your name tags, there are numbers. If you don't have a number on your name tag, please approach me or Marina. Please approach me or Marina. And then turn around and look at our wonderful student ambassadors, Arya and Marina, who are here to guide you on a tour. So you're going to walk around the JIS campus. Please feel free to have a refreshment before you go. The tour will take approximately half an hour, and then we'll meet you back here to say thank you and connect with you before you leave. So, thank you so much for your time today. Please turn around and look at our wonderful student ambassadors who are itching to show you their wonderful school. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, do I have cross country? Do I have time to go to cross country?